What is the crack, everyone? Welcome to the first episode of Clean Plates, the show where we recreate our guests' favourite childhood meal, bringing them down memory lane and learning a thing or two about their career so far. Today's guest is none other than Lauren Guilfoyle. Lauren, thank you so much for being here today. How are you?
Good, how are you?
I'm very, very good. So, the concept of the show is like doing a meal from your childhood or something that brings back fond memories. Because like, for me, food has always been linked to memories, or if from my childhood there's certain meals, a certain taste that bring me back to certain places, and that's the beauty with food. So you chose...
I chose a shepherd's pie.
Shepherd's pie, okay, so it's a good one to start with, and it's a good like wholesome Irish one, or English if you're cottage pie. Do you know the difference between cottage and shepherd's pie?
Is there something to do with meat? I don't know.
It's the mince, So lamb mince would be for a cottage pie, beef mince is for a shepherd's pie. That's the only difference there, but they're very similar. I mean, the sauce, the mash, everything is pretty much the same way. So you're going to cook it for me today. I'm going to oversee it. I'm going to make sure everything's going the right way, and we're going to learn a little bit more about you as we cook. Okay, so the first thing we're going to do, and again, cooking is about timing, so the mashed potato will take the longest. You have some lovely peeled potatoes in front of you. Could you dice them into small cubes for me, please? So Lauren, you have a background. I mean, you're known for GAA, and you've always been involved in it. So I'm wondering, like, has this been from a very early childhood thing, or is it when you were in school? Because I know your family are very involved in GAA, your father in particular.
Yes.
So I suppose, is the interest come from him, or was it after that?
In GAA?
Yeah, in GAA.
Yeah, so it's kind of all I've known, really. I've often said it, I was raised on the side of a GAA pitch.
Yeah.
Dad was either playing or he was training a different club team, county team. My brother would have been playing. And then I started playing when I was 6 because I'm from Fecal and there's nothing else to do.
Yeah. You're kind of just thrown into it.
Yeah, exactly. There wasn't much else kind of on offer for a young girl like myself. So that's kind of where it came from. It was just kind of all I've ever known, really.
And your father would have quite a few achievements in GAA itself.
Yeah.
I mean, even just from doing the research on him, he scored 2-3 against Cork in '86, and I believe he had an incident with a lawnmower prior to one of the championship games.
He did. So actually, this was kind of that was the start of his downfall. Is probably the wrong thing to say, but he was actually the captain of the Clare Senior Hurlers back in 1991, and a couple of days before Munster Championship, and it was still. But there was no backdoor at the time, so there was kind of a one chance in championship, and he was out cutting the lawn, and something happened the lawnmower, and he had to stick his hand up the lawnmower and basically came away with a number of stitches, so he wasn't able to play the championship match.
There's your first mistake anyway. You never stick your hand up the lawnmower.
No.
So that was kind of he was obviously out for a while after that, and that was but he played until he was like 49.
Yeah, so he played club hurling up until about 49. It was only a couple of years ago that he actually retired. Himself and his brother Michael, they just love it. So it was hard for them to step away.
Where does this dish come into play then?
So this dish, I suppose it reminds me of the Sherwood in Ennis, which is in Tesco, which is across the road from the park, Cusick Park.
Okay, yeah.
So I don't know, I suppose just kind of, if you were ever going for meals in Ennis, maybe after a match, before a match, that's where we'd go. And this was always what I picked. I'd have this with a big pint of milk.
Oh, it's a job,
yeah, exactly. So that's kind of where that comes from.
Even from my own brief career in GAA, I think it was flawed when I was more excited for the food on the way home after the games, because whoever was carpooling, and in particular some parents were better than others, where they'd be sure to like stop in Supermax or wherever it was, and so I was always like, I'll play the game, that's grand, but we're making sure we're stopping for food on the way home.
That definitely was a key part of it growing up, kind of going to different places around the county and stopping for an ice cream on the way home or a bag of chips. Yeah. And you played up until it was before college, was it? Yeah, no, so I played up through college. I played up to county minor with Clare, so I played for 2 years with those.
Yes.
And then I played club camogie up until my final year in college, and that's kind of when work and all that started to kick off. So
you hung up the boots.
I did briefly. It was never meant to be a permanent decision. I'm always trying to get back, but it hasn't happened just yet. Yeah,
I know. So that's perfect. So we have like nice cube-sized pieces. Again, the reason we do that is they're going to cook faster. Mm-hmm. So we're going to put this on the boil off camera. We'll let that simmer on a very low heat for about maybe 15 minutes. Usually when you can prick them with a knife and the potato falls off, they're ready to mash. The mince is next. So the potatoes are on, we're going to let them boil. It's a really simple mix and sauce itself. What I'll do is, and the reason that I'm going to get you to grate a carrot, I want all of the all of the vegetables to be quite small because I want the kind of the breakdown in the sauce so we don't have massive chunks of carrot or onion, whatever it is. I'll chop the onion and garlic. If you just grate the carrot on the chopping board, yeah, just go for it. Literally as simple as it may be. Okay, so I have a pan on a pretty high heat here. I'm going to add some oil, knock that in, and we'll start to fry off the onion, garlic, and carrot. Now, I didn't mention in the intro, Lauren, I could have said that you have an international cap as well, as far as I know.
I do.
You can tell us about that.
Yeah, so very much a once-off now, and I don't see me getting a second cap. But you know the international rules that the Gaelic footballers will play with Australia?
Yeah.
So there is a hurling equivalent with shinty players in Scotland. So back in 2012, Ireland played Scotland in senior, under 21 and camogie. And it was based in Ennis, so they wanted to declare a group of girls to represent Ireland. So
and what age group was this?
Obliged, senior camogie.
Okay.
So yeah, we played a Scottish team. And I there was a big red carpet. We got to meet Michael D. Higgins. There was the national anthem.
Oh my
So
God.
Flower of Scotland was played. It was pretty cool. But yeah, I have a cool jersey at home now with fur in the hair and my name on the back.
Yes,
of it,
yeah.
So.
And was there ever like the intention to pursue that or was like sport following in your father's footsteps or anything like that? Was that ever the intention or was it always to kind of deviate from that afterwards? Was it just a hobby?
That was the initial, I suppose, intention. But I think as the years kind of progressed, maybe my career or my, what's the word? I didn't progress in terms of team selection or making different teams. I was always kind of in the extended panels of different teams, I suppose, as I moved up. So I kind of felt like I could get to where I wanted to be a different way, and that was through physio, through media.
Yes, yeah. So this is on. So again, all we're doing is sauteing down our onion, our garlic, or carrot. So that's like the base flavors. We don't necessarily want them to be punching out through the dish itself. They're like the undertone of flavors. Our mince has gone in, so we're using a beef mince. So that makes it a shepherd's pie. Very good. Okay, so just before we add in sauce, you might pass me on the sauce ingredients. For this kind of dish, we're going to do tomato puree. So we have a tablespoon of it. We have Worcester sauce, which is going to give us that nice dark colour. And we have some chicken stock and the ladle too, if you wouldn't mind.
Yep.
I'll actually get you to season it. So we have some salt, pepper and mixed herbs there. I'll give you a baby spoon. So we'll do about a teaspoon of the mixed herbs.
A heaped teaspoon now.
Show me what a teaspoon in your household looks like. Yeah, that's perfect. Knock that in. And a nice generous crack of salt and pepper there as well.
More?
Yeah, go for it. One more. Perfect.
I never use that much pepper at home.
You'd be surprised. It looks like this will feed probably 3, 4, 5 people. So one more. Lovely. We'll taste it again in a while in the end as well. Okay, so we'll let that simmer down. Now we have a surprise for you today. So you've always been vocal on social media and I think that's kind of how you found your voice and I suppose you've been on it for quite some time.
Oh God.
So for this segment of the show, it's called Shameful Socials. We did a deep dive on Lauren's Twitter, we pulled out some tweets and we'd like to get some more context on them.
This better not lead to the cancellation of me.
Yeah, this might be the last interview Lauren ever does. So I'll read them out to you one by one.
God.
Lauren Guilfoyle on the 8th of October 2014. I'd like to reference, she got 3 likes on this as well. You know the crowd is young when you get tapped on the shoulder on a dance floor. Shift. Back to the teeny boppers with you. Hashtag freshers. Lauren, where was your first shift?
Oh God. My first shift was after a school disco in Tulla.
Brilliant.
Where I went to secondary school. Yeah, in first year.
Good memories.
Yeah.
Excellent.
It was a nice romantic shift.
That's very funny you say that because the next one I have here, I won't say her name, I will then proceed to shift in the hope that I score a free top pizza. Hashtag classy as always. Is top pizza, has that always been your reference?
I do not recall reading that.
If you were on a night out, would that be your choice of place to go, top pizza, or have you any other ones?
I don't really drink, so that will be my place to go to try and flutter the eyelids in the hope that some fella will give me a slice of his pizza.
Lauren Guilfoyle on September the 10th, 2013. Nothing more cringy than being made the profile of the finest yus. Hashtag cringefest. Hashtag young ones, spelled YUNGS.
That is one of my life achievements.
I should have had that in the intro of the segment. You could have had physio, sports broadcaster, profo of the finest Yos in Limerick. So yeah, we can add that to one of your accolades. And then also, last one, Lauren Guilfoyle on August 7, 2013. Just seen Simon Zebo's Bebo page. He was a serious creep back in the day. Hashtag Bebo memories. Is there anyone at the moment, like any like male celebrity crushes now, or is it still on the Simon Zebo?
Oh, no, he's got kids and a
Yeah.
fiance and all that.
Who are you
Who
creeping
are
on
we
these
creeping
days?
on these days? I haven't actually watched it yet. Normal People, Paul Mescal.
Yes, yeah, very popular one these days.
He seems to be just embodying a nice kind of Irish man with his O'Neill's shorts and just, yeah.
All right.
He's ticking a few boxes now, but we'll see.
So Paul, if you're watching this and you'd like to get in touch, you can, the handles of the show is below. Please, we'd love to have you on as well if you want to come on, and you can profess your love to Lauren as well. So we're just making a sauce as we're talking here. So the tomato puree has gone in, the Worcester, and I'll do about a ladle and a half of the chicken stock, and we'll let that simmer down then. On the topic of social media, you've clearly been active for a couple of years. But in more recent years, you've got more eyeballs on you, you've got more attention, which is amazing, and it's obviously have done wonders for your career. But there is a negative side to that. Have you seen the negative side of social media? Have you had criticisms? I think you've used the word in the past, mansplaining. You might explain that to me as well.
Womansplaining.
Woman's, yes, exactly, yeah, please.
I suppose first of all, though, I haven't, I think if you were to look and contrast me to maybe other influencers, I probably don't receive as much hate as they would. I think I am quite genuine online, and I try not to kind of put on a facade, I suppose, most of the time, and kind of show the bad days and the good days as well. But yeah, I suppose over the last couple of years, I work predominantly in physiotherapy, and I like to post a lot about physiotherapy online. And I suppose, given I work kind of with athletes and on the side of a GAA pitch, I see the simple mistakes that a lot of GAA players would make. So I like to try to dispel those myths online. But in doing so, you are kind of nearly attacking someone's belief system, for the want of a better word.
Yes,
And where someone might think that what they know somehow is superior to the evidence, and I'm like.
And oftentimes, are these qualified, unqualified?
No, Jesus, no. Which probably annoys me a little bit more. But I suppose over the last kind of couple of weeks and months, you will get, and it is predominantly men. Maybe it's that women don't care, or I have a larger male following, given the content. But you will get guys either sliding into my DMs or commenting on posts, basically either calling me out, telling me I'm wrong, or will nearly kind of explain what I've just explained without adding anything to the mix. And it just annoys me a lot, because mansplaining is essentially where a man will come along and just explain what you've explained, but because he's explaining it, it seems to be coming from a base of authority that I don't have.
Yes, okay, I understand.
So yeah, there has been a couple of incidences of it. One guy actually messaged me and told me that what I had posted was incorrect. And then he followed it up by saying that he has no qualifications in sports science, medicine or physio, but somehow he was still correct. And then he told me that a lot of physios are out of our depth, which really didn't help when I was penning my reply.
Yes.
So yeah, it does happen the odd time, but I think they are just people that are ignorant to, I suppose, the facts. And to be fair, I do ignore it 99% of the time, but there are some days where you just get a couple of them and it builds up. And I'm kind of thinking, I honestly couldn't have worded that post any better or put any more research into it. And you know, and I'm
especially when it's your career and it's basically your whole life revolves around this, and it's your baby, you've built this. So when people are throwing stones at it, you know, it is.
And when they're incorrect as well.
Yes, of course, you understand. I understand that. Now, luckily, I don't really receive much hate. Who could hate a face looking like this? But I did call some friends earlier. I want to get their perception on how to deal with hate, criticism, negativity online. So let's see what they said. All right, so the first person I'm going to try is David Grant. He's all the way down in Australia at the moment, so hopefully he's awake. David Grant, what is the story? Come here, I have a question for you. I'm doing a show here with Lauren Guilfoyle, and we're asking people how do they manage hate or negativity on social media or anything like that. I want to get your 2 cents.
To be honest, I haven't experienced much. The only person I hate on social media is probably you, Eoin.
Oh, all right.
The fact that you use your platform as if you're an influencer for fitness, because you're not. I don't think you're
All right. Well, actually, Dave, that's not actually. You're actually missing the point here.
Use your dogs as well to try and get women to slide.
Right. Okay. Well, actually, Dave, it's actually getting late here ourselves as well. Let's actually guess. There's actually there's a lag time.
Well, you're getting a go-kart to try and get women to talk to you.
Perfect. Anyway, Dave, we appreciate you calling. Best looking lads, and I will see you in 5 years' time. Okay. Not very helpful. We're going to call a few more people to see if they have actually some genuine good advice. Clodagh Cahill,
Hello.
what is the story?
I think.
I have a quick question for you if you don't mind, if you have 2 seconds. We are doing a show here with Lauren Guilfoyle. We're wondering, I asked Lauren what does she do to minimise or mitigate any hate or negativity on social media. You're an influencer, like it or not. Have you any tips or tricks for people that they can, I suppose, deal with that issue?
I always have one saying for opinions on the internet. Opinions are like noses. Everyone has one and everyone gets to pick their own. It's none of my business what other people think of me, so literally just don't deal with it.
Perfect. That's all I want to know. Clodagh, thank you so much. Hope all is good up in Dublin. The last person I'm going to call is John Mitchell. He's my mate from Cork. He's one of the most dangerous men in Ireland. I want to get his take on this. John, we're doing a show here. I'm doing it with Lauren Guilfoyle, and we ask people how do they react with hate or negativity or anything bad about social media. You're an MMA fighter. I called you one of the most dangerous men in Ireland. Do you deal with this on social media? And if so, how do you deal with it?
No, so I actually haven't got that much in social media at all, but I worked as a bouncer for the last 5 years, you know, and there was plenty of hate down that direction.
You've all the signs of it.
Just say, tell me about it. I don't have professional fighter tapes drops in my head, so they don't really know. But there was this one guy in particular, and he used to always give me such abuse when I was on the door, because I used to not let him in, and the more abuse he gave me, I just never used to let him in, and he was always like trying to find out my name, and I used to never tell him, obviously, because I was working on the door. But then one time he found out my name because I had a upcoming title fight, so he added me on Facebook, and he's been coming to my fights ever since.
Oh, what a great story. So hate has turned into friendship.
Yeah, I'm sure we're both now.
So I assume, John, your message is like, make your enemies your friends. You're such a sweetheart, you know that?
Well, you know, we could have kind of slapped as well, but
Yeah. Right, so we have gotten their perspective, some good nuggets of information there, and I accidentally called David Grant. So back to you, Eoin, in studio. So that was great to hear what they think. Thank you all for your participation in that. We're going to carry on with the recipe. So this mince is pretty much done. We're nearly ready to plate it up. We have the potatoes, which have been drained. So again, a good test. If you get a knife, if you can prick one up, and it splits fairly handy, and it starts to fall apart, like so. They're done, so they're nice and soft. I will give these to you. You can start them. So we're going to make the mash.
Oh, lovely.
So you can put in the ingredients. I can take over the mashing later on. So you're going to do a small splash of milk. I'm going to watch it. No, do 3 times that.
So a lot of milk.
One more. Okay, perfect. You can put in all of the butter.
All of them.
All of the butter. Put in all of the butter. Yeah. And a nice crack of salt and pepper. Again, keep in mind, this will feed 3 or 4 people. So it's only like a third of that.
You
It's fine.
diabetes.
Listen, life is too short not to eat butter.
True.
So I'll actually take it. And from, I suppose, a good way to say it is like from midfield to Miss Clare, you ended a beauty pageant, and that was like the doorway into media of sorts. Was that was the first time, I suppose, you were in the limelight, we'll say?
Somewhat, yeah, and it was completely like unintentionally. And that was back when I was 17, so first year in college.
17?
17, yeah.
Wow.
I actually won the competition and I wasn't allowed into the
I was supposed to say, it seems very young for a beauty pageant.
Convince the bouncers in the Queen's nightclub to let me into my own after.
Oh my God.
But yeah, that was the start of it, and honestly, like I am like an introvert. I'm actually quite quiet.
Yeah, because we've known each other for quite a few years now, and
yeah, and people wouldn't expect that from me.
Yes, yeah.
So yeah, that was the start. I did that back in 2013, and yeah, as I said, that kind of was the start of me being in the limelight somewhat. And I kind of gained somewhat of a following, albeit quite small back in the day. And then over the next couple of years, that kind of grew and grew.
Yes,
and yeah, just more opportunities kind of started to trickle my way. Small opportunities, but I said yes.
Where did you go from after Miss Clare? What was the first introduction to media?
So in 2016, I worked with Pundit Arena. So basically, we produced some coverage over the championship that year, and they had just started out as a company back then in Cork. They were quite small. They were like 9 employees at the time. They're massive now. They really are. So I just kind of cut my teeth there. Like, I hope you haven't found any of those videos, because God knows it wasn't.
Cue the clip.
Ireland have beaten France here at the Aviva in the Six Nations on a scoreline of 19 points to 9.
So that's where it started, and then people kind of got to see me there. So then they would have offered me other opportunities, or I would have looked for other opportunities. You know, definitely things weren't handed to me.
And it was organic.
That work wasn't paid as well. So yeah, just building experience. Like, I have no qualifications in the area, but I have a lot of experience in the area over the last 4 years.
Even like since then, that hasn't been a very long timeline to where you are now. So it was like an exponential growth in media, and you've had some like serious highs in career-wise as well. Is there any ones that like stick out, or if you were to say one of your milestones?
I suppose kind of looking back now they are, but when you're kind of in work mode at the time, it isn't so much. But I got to work with the Camogie Association last year, and I covered their All-Star trip in New York. So I got a an all expenses paid trip to New York. It was class, and the access that I got to players and whatnot was really cool. And then also I got to cover the Six Nations, both the under-20s and seniors for Boaz LIE.
Okay.
So yeah, even just getting like emails from like the English RFU about like parking at Twickenham, I'm like, this is a bit strange.
Yeah, I know, yeah.
It was complete imposter syndrome for that day. So yeah, they are absolutely some career highs, and I think when I'm in the moment, I'm probably so focused on what I have to do and work-wise, but when I kind of step back and look at like where I've come from to where I am now, it's a bit nuts,
and
really.
That's like especially in the line of work that we're in, reflection is one of the biggest things, because like you said, when you're in it, you're so focused on doing your job, doing a good job. It's only when you're afterwards, and I know myself, after like any event or whatever it may be, it's only like the drive home I always remember. Anything I do, it's when I'm in the car driving home, that's when I relax, my adrenaline comes down a bit, then it's like, oh geez, that was unreal.
Yeah, no, you really have to like set aside that time, either during the event or after it, to kind of say, but enjoy this, because this is what you've been working towards. It's not to just kind of, I suppose, skim through it and move on to the next event, because I suppose that's what you're doing it for in the first place, is to enjoy those moments and to enjoy that opportunity. So that's really important, absolutely.
So we just put our shepherd's pie mince into the bowl. We've added some peas there as well, just to give a kind of fleck of green. We're going to put the mash on top. We're going to put some cheese over that, and then we're going to pop it into the oven. So is there any like goals, or where do you see the career going? Obviously it's on this like steam train up. So like where would Lauren like to be in 5, 10, 20 years time? Not even that. Where would it like to be in December?
It's always a hard question to ask, because like if you were to ask me that last year, I wouldn't have kind of set sights on where I've actually gotten to. So yeah, I suppose just to kind of continuously progress and do more. Like last year, I remember writing down in my little kind of journal that I wanted to work on national radio, and honestly, I think it was 2 days later the Marty squad came in, and I'm like, what do they call that?
Manifestation, yeah.
So I was like, okay.
And you do quite a bit of journaling and writing and diary work, as would I. Yeah, so that's like a big part of manifestation. Is, I mean, I don't know the science or the theory behind it, but usually if you write it down, regardless, you should be writing them down anyway, because it kind of just sets your own priorities in line anyway.
It makes that goal quite a tangible thing in front of you. So yeah, I don't know where I want to be. I'd love to work in live TV. That's definitely a goal of mine, and I suppose just to kind of keep doing what I'm doing. I suppose one downside to the work that I do is that it can be quite irregular, so it'd be nice to have that a bit more,
something more consistent.
Yeah, exactly. But as well, I kind of like the fun and not knowing what's happening next.
Yeah, I suppose that's the beauty of it as well, is the kind of excitement to it. Okay, the mash is on, so we've the roof put on the house basically. We're just going to put a little bit of cheese over the top. A little. You don't like cheese? Okay, I'm going to do a square of cheese here. Mark, would you like some cheese on yours? We'll do 2 squares of cheese here. We'll do half of it with some cheese. We'll do half.
No, you can do a little
bit. It's fine. There's no issue. I'm going to get you to one more.
Chef what to do.
Oh, you're the chef today. This is your show. You might do one more crack of salt and pepper over the top. I have an oven preheated to about 200 degrees. We're going to get that in. Everything is cooked. We just want to let the cheese melt, if you like cheese in your shepherd's pie, and then let the mash just kind of crisp up on the outside. You'll see it'll start to bubble up. Beautiful. We'll whip this out. We'll put it in the oven. We'll check back in about 15 minutes. And the finished product after about 10-15 minutes in the oven is this beautiful shepherd's pie. You see it's golden on the outside. You have bits of that mince bubbling up over the top. The cheese is melted. There's one thing left to do, is to taste it. you happy with that so far? That looks.
Yeah,
that
looks
looks.
good.
Does it bring back memories from Cusick Park?
It does, definitely. There's a pint of milk now and we'll be sorted.
So you need to be honest now as well, all right? Needs to be an honest taste test. So,
And I can't lie, so.
well, you made it, so to be honest, you can say whatever you want. So give it a taste. I'll go from the far side. It could be scalding hot now as well, so be careful.
Yeah. That's good.
Yeah, it's very good. You have like the richness from the mince and then the creaminess from the potato on top. It's a pretty solid dish. Brings you back to your childhood. Really simple to make. A good one for coming into winter for those cold nights. And it's really simple to make. So the last segment today, the last challenge, is a game called Reveal or Regret. The concept of this is that I want Lauren to reveal something, a question that I'm going to ask her. If she doesn't give us the answer that we want, she will regret it. Now today's regret will be from these red hot cinnamon flavoured candy, okay? So you are going to have to eat a dish of these candies.
A dish?
A dish, yeah, serving is like 15, so I'm going to put a few of them out there. I've never tasted these, so I have no idea how hot or how spicy these are. We'll put out a small few. These could be just lovely little sweets for all we know. That seem okay? So Lauren, again, this could, if...
I don't have to do this.
The counteraction to this is if you give us the answer, I have to eat it.
Okay.
Okay? It's a very simple question. Should be a very simple answer. I'm aware that someone high up in the Irish music industry slid into your DMs a few years back. Lauren, who slid into your DMs?
So if I answer this, I don't have to eat
If you answer this, you don't have to eat those candies.
Dermot Kennedy.
See,
Dermot Kennedy.
I was afraid she would.
2013, August. I have the screenshot.
My fear was that she would be proud of this, and I
I
would
am
have
very proud of this. I didn't respond. I had a boyfriend.
Oh, Dermot. All right, I'm a man of my word. I will eat them. I'm just going to. I'll eat them all. Can I please have that glass of milk, please?
Yes, you can.
I do this for the show, for the good of the show. Thank you for being so honest with us. Thank you to Dermot Kennedy.
That's all right.
So much, yeah. I actually won't be able to eat all of these in
Oh my
one go.
god, will you try one or something first?
No, I can't try one. It's cheating. I wouldn't have let you try one. Oh, they're not soft. Oh wow. I'm getting an undertone of cinnamon. And now the heat is there. Yeah, no, they're not great at all.
Like an absolute nightmare. They smell hot.
Yeah, not great. Lauren, thank you for your honesty. All right, so Lauren, thank you very much for being on the show. Thank you for cooperating. The dish is good. You enjoyed the dish?
I did,
You might
definitely.
recreate it at home.
I'll try.
Where can people find you? Where can people find more, or learn more about you?
All online, so Lauren Guilfoyle on both Twitter and Instagram. You'll find me that way.
Yeah, okay, perfect. It was a successful day. We learned that, number one, Lauren's dad lost some of his fingers in a lawnmower accident. We've seen where she got her first shift, and Dermot Kennedy still into your DMs in 2013. Just for context, Dermot Kennedy wasn't her first shift back in the teenage disco. I feel like I have to say that. Thank you so much for watching. We really do appreciate it. Make sure you subscribe. We have plenty more guests, and let us know who you would like to see on the show. Until next time, keep on cooking.